One. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 276 of the KBMOD podcast. It is April 30th, 2017, and that is definitely not the second time I've done that intro. If you're listening to the audio version, I nailed it the first time perfectly.
No one will ever know.
No one will ever know. It's perfect. It's the perfect crime. Well, I'm back, guys, because I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. Had stuff going on.
Oh, welcome back.
Yes, thank you. I've missed you. It's good to be back. I believe Bradley will be absent for a couple weeks, correct? So I'm coming back and he is leaving us, but we'll hold down the fort for him. It is good to be back.
Rotating cast of characters.
That's right. I went to California last weekend. Basically, I got a flight. And people were like, "Why did you go?" It's like, well, I wanted to go, and it was a good weekend. It worked out for me, and I got round trip direct flights for $233, and it's like really hard to beat that price to go all the way to LA. And yes, people are like, "Oh, I hope you didn't fly Spirit," and it's like, well, of course it's Spirit Airlines. Where are you going to get a rate that low? However, the thing with Spirit is once you've flown Spirit enough times and you know about like, okay, they could delay it. They charge you for even bringing a cup of water on the plane. Like you know what you got to do. They don't, by the way. You get one personal item, so you can basically bring like a backpack or a really small carry-on. And I was there from early Friday morning till Monday night. So I had a good amount of time. So how I rationalized it was like, even if I get delayed, like I don't have anything specific I have to be doing. So it's not a huge deal, but all my flights went well. I had my flight back was delayed about an hour, but that was it. The flights were great. And I didn't spend any more money on a carry-on or anything like that. Cause it would have been to bring a carry-on. It's like $40 per flight. So that's how they get you. I mean, they basically just give you the price of the ticket pretty much bare, but yeah, I packed my backpack really tight, and I basically got there round trip for $233. So, if you can find a better price, you let me know. But it was really good.
For cross country.
For cross country, yeah, exactly. I mean, free is obviously the ultimate, but I didn't have any free flights. But no, it was a good time. And then the previous week, I think, it was Easter, so I had 2 Easter showings with my girlfriend's parents and then my parents, and then of course we did the Easter egg hunt, and then the crucifixion. Or no, that's wrong. Not the crucifixion. Oh, no, this is when Jesus rose. Oh, we did the symbolic pushing the stone away from the grave, and it's a whole thing. Takes all day. It gets pretty weird too.
Yeah, we let everyone know that you were busy all day. So you were praising.
I was praising. It gets weird though. At the end, is like every year someone has to be chosen to be the dead Jesus, and then someone's the resurrected Jesus.
Yeah.
This year I got the resurrected Jesus, so I was happy with that. The dead Jesus.
When you're going through all that, you don't pick someone to die a few days earlier and then be resurrected. It's different people.
No. Okay. Yeah, it's different people.
That's not. I mean, that's not very real. Then that's.
Yeah, we have our own take on it. We have our own spin.
All right. Well, I guess everyone has their own interpretation.
Exactly. But what's been going on with you guys? I won't ask for the past couple weeks, but this week, anything exciting happened this week to you fellas? Game unrelated to gaming. We're going to get into that because I think Katie Zen and I in the pre-show were already salivating to talk about what we've been playing gaming wise.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. Nothing too exciting for me. My plan to hit the gym kind of fell through, so hopefully. And
wait, was that something last week that was
Yeah, I said last week I was going to try to go to the gym with a buddy of mine, but those plans kind of fell through that week, so hopefully.
Was it like I woke up and I'm just not into this whole thing, or was it like
he wasn't feeling well? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty much going off of his plan, I'm his free guest, and he wasn't feeling well.
That would kill that.
Yeah.
That's a convenient excuse for you that you get to play off of someone else.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So
you're just like, worked out pretty well. I didn't really want to go, and he was sick. So
no, I meant the plan of basically going to the gym for free is going to work out well.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah,
that is good.
But, yeah, hopefully, I'll have some great gym stories in the future. Of creepy old men, which I hear so much about.
Wait, you mean you creeping on old men, or old men creeping on you?
Old men creeping on me? What? How did you get me creeping on old men?
I mean, you didn't clarify, so.
Okay, all right. No, hopefully I'll have a story of some shocking experiences. Apparently, I don't know anything
about.
What
happens at this gym?
I was gonna say,
not this gym. I just hear. I've heard stories from certain old defunct YouTube channels of some men who would like walk up to the hand dryer, like the automatic like hand dryer, and like turn around and then just kneel back and like hold their asshole up to the hand dryer and dry themselves that way. So
I think those
nothing like that
are very, very rare instances. I think you're going to be fine. I don't think.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was gonna say I have not experienced anything that I would consider podcast worthy at the gym.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, maybe the actual. I mean, I've never been, so it could be just a very calm place.
I mean,
and I'm hyping it up to be some
to be fair,
playground.
I don't know what the gyms in your area are like. So
Yeah, I don't
it's
think so.
possible.
You're right.
It's not Indiana. It's gonna be some hick gym. Farmer Joe is gonna be, no, not like
Maybe Aaron his balls out right.
his balls out. He's in like a spider pose in the washroom.
Yeah.
On his back, crawling around like what's the chick who crawled out of the TV? Like that bitch, yeah. But no, not other than that, or other than anything, nothing happened this past week. Yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
Let's see. I didn't really have anything going on this week. The only thing I ordered a new TV for
Okay.
I heard
my
about
living
that.
room. Yeah. I had a 50-inch Panasonic Plasma downstairs that I've had for about 7 years, and it's worked great. Like nothing's wrong with it. But I just decided it was eating away at me over time, because like over the past 7 years, like when 3D TVs became a thing and like curved TVs and all this other stuff, I was like, I don't need any of that. I don't want any of this stuff.
Right.
So I just, I kept the TV that was working fine for me. But now we're finally at a point where, like, then 4K TVs came out, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really need that because there's basically no 4K content. It's not really that big a deal. But now there's also HDR. And like, there's more stuff that's 4K and HDR, and like, it's just now gotten to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I think it's time to go ahead and upgrade. And the main reason I wanted to upgrade is because I sort of already knew this, but I didn't realize the extent to which TVs now, like because the bezels are so thin, I was able to upgrade from a 50-inch TV, which has pretty thick bezels. It's 7 years old. To a 65-inch TV that still fits on my TV stand. So I'm excited to actually see the difference because it's a lot more screen with not much larger a frame. But I got a new Vizio, and it's like the new model, which literally just came out, and that was sort of a coincidence. I didn't intend to get the brand new model, but it just came out, so I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll get that one. And the downside is, you can only order it right now off of Vizio's website. So I did that, but like there's no shipping estimate. It's just like the order's just processing. And I'm like, so when am I going to get this TV? Because luckily I found a coworker who wanted my old TV. And so like I packed up and sold my old TV to him yesterday, and now I just don't have a TV. So
Oh my God.
this didn't exactly work out with the right timing. But hopefully within the next week or so, I get my new TV.
Okay,
so
that's good.
that was like the only mildly exciting thing to happen.
That reminds me of something else I did this week. I helped a lot of friends like move into a new apartment. There's like 3 friends of mine that all got a place, and they straight up this concept of just they're perfectly fine with having no TV in the living room because they all just hang out in their rooms and play video games in there all the time. Like they don't sit together and watch anime. They don't eat together. I don't know. That just concept is just foreign to me. Like they're perfectly fine with not having a central.
I could see that when I lived in college and had 3 roommates one year. We each had our own room, and so like the only thing we really did in the main area was cooking and stuff. But like I don't know. I was a special case because I was playing a lot of games at that time. So being in my room was not a problem. But yeah, I didn't really like watch stuff except for maybe like football games or something on a Sunday. Maybe we'd hang out in the main room. But I could see that when you have multiple roommates, it's like everyone wants to furnish the place that they're gonna spend time, and then it's like who's gonna buy if you're gonna have a TV in the living room, like who's gonna pay for that? Like who's gonna pay for the couch to put in the living room? Because it's like a weird situation where no one really wants to chip in because they already have stuff they bought for their own room.
Gotcha. Yeah.
No, that's my experience as well. Wait, so you said you were moving out soon, Katie? Did I miss the how soon is soon, or was that more just a general thought?
That was more. I think I meant more as like when I move out, I'm going to.
I didn't know if
look
that
at
meant
getting
that you would have
yeah,
direct plans.
probably. Yeah, probably not gonna be moving out soon. I will be moving out temporarily to Philly for Extra Life. What?
Nice.
What a segue.
Hmm.
Except that you
Let's
got the
talk
city
about-
wrong. But that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's the wrong city. But fair
What?
enough. You mean Pittsburgh?
Is it Pittsburgh?
As it turns out, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, while they are both in Pennsylvania, are different cities.
Damn. Well, I will be moving,
But either way,
temporarily to Pittsburgh.
okay.
Well, that's nice. We kind of skipped over what we've been playing, but we could.
Oh, am I breaking the order?
I mean,
I'm blowing it.
You know what?
I see that you
It's fine.
sacrificed the order for a good segue, which I can appreciate.
Go with this.
I made a sacrifice.
Hit it
Well,
up.
that's an
Thanks so
unceremonious announcement for our Extra Life LAN. We have a date. So for those of you who don't know, maybe you started listening recently to the cast, say in the past few months. Every year we do a big LAN in support of Extra Life, and we've done this for several years now. And so we normally do it around Extra Life's official game day, which is typically like it's been early November the past few years, and so our LAN has been in October, and usually like a little bit before that. But we're actually because of how the event schedule and other commitments work out this year, we're actually doing our Extra Life LAN quite a bit earlier this year. It's going to be from August 18th to 20th, 2017. So that is it's going to be in Pittsburgh. So August 18th through 20th. We'll have more news at some point, in the near future. But we wanted to go ahead and announce the dates because I know that all of you that listen to this cast are going to immediately put it on your calendars.
That's right.
So that you are ready, so that you don't schedule, something important, right? So that, if your parents ask you, hey, do you have anything going on this weekend? You can tell them, yes, I'm going to be at the KBMOD Extra Life LAN stream. So we'll have more information for you. Check out the website, kbmod.com, over the next few weeks. We'll probably have more, but that's about 4 months away. So we'll be talking about it more on the cast over the next few months. But August 18th through 20th, put it on your calendar, save the date, and we'll tell you more pretty soon.
I'll have to go ahead and refund my Philadelphia plane tickets.
I was just going to say, if you bought tickets to Philly, I mean, you could technically drive with me, I guess, because I go.
Could get an Uber, yeah.
Yeah.
KD, since you put us out of order here, why don't you tell us the other thing going on in KBMOD is that this Little Nightmares review coming soon.
I'll bring it back. Yeah, so Little Nightmares is a game that came out last week, and there will be a review by yours truly coming out this following week. There's no set date because I still have to edit the shit, but stay tuned. It's going to be a banger, as they say. Ooh. I'm really proud of this video. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be a short and sweet little review. So make sure you stay tuned to the website if you want some memes.
But it's a banger, though.
Absolutely. I love to compress as much information I can into the smallest video without talking way too fast or being, that was kind of the goal. It's only 5 minutes long, but I feel like I covered the entire game pretty well.
So. Okay.
Well, in today's fast-paced world, I appreciate when you can condense good content into a short amount of time because I'm a busy person.
Yes. I can't. I mean, I can appreciate the 2-hour Bloodborne analysis videos, but in this day and age, you got people scrolling through Facebook and Twitter. They need some auto.
Our attention spans are shorter than ever. 5 minutes, that's an eternity.
Absolutely. 5 minutes, you probably have opened up over 732 different links on your Chrome. So
yeah.
I don't think of time in terms of minutes. I think of it in number of tabs opened and closed.
That's right.
5 minutes, that's dozens of tabs.
I actually have a really fucked up confession. The other night, Reddit was down for a while, for a good amount of time. And it was late at night, and usually when I can't sleep, I just go on my Reddit app on my phone, and I just look at all my different subreddits I'm subscribed to. And dude, I can't tell you, I am. I never realized how reliant I am on Reddit, dude. Like even sitting at my computer, I'll like open it up, I'll check a subreddit, I'll close
You
it.
never realized it.
I didn't, not until it was down, dude. And anyway, I just want to say that I was like, it shocked me because I would like open a YouTube and then I'd watch a YouTube video and I'd close it. I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be on Reddit right now. And then I'd open up a Twitch stream and I'd watch it for a little bit and I'd be like, no, but this isn't Reddit. So you know what? As much as I like to talk shit, dude, I'm a Redditor. I'm a Redditor in the sense of consuming. I don't engage with the community. I'm more of a leech, but my God, I do love
You're
me
not
some
the
Reddit.
person clipping from a Twitch stream and immediately posting it so that you're the one that
No,
gets the comment.
I should be if I would want some karma, but yeah, no, I'm not that.
Oh wow.
Anyway, sorry, but all right. Well, Katie, since you also, that was a good segue, but let's go back. Let's reverse it and talk to me about what you've been playing this week.
This podcast so far has really reminded me of Memento. Like everything is being like,
Yes.
like I'm Guy Pearce. I'm recalling everything in reverse order. So, in what should have been brought up before any of this, I'll talk about what I've been playing this past week, which has been quite a bit actually. I played Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
And that
You
game.
could have done a reverse segue. Little Nightmares review coming, and then you say, and I've also been playing these other games.
I
been a
didn't want to
natural
cut you guys
segue.
off. You had something going, you know. I don't know. That would have been a legendary segue, you're right? But yeah, Little Nightmares. It only took me about 4 hours to beat it, and it was a $20 game, sort of like Inside or Limbo being that much for a short game. But the game was dope. It had problems, but so much of it is just such a thrilling game. And there are like control issues. People say a lot of the puzzles, it's pretty much, a 2D puzzle platformer. And a lot of people say like the puzzles are too simple or the game isn't really hard. And yeah, it's missing that challenge. It's missing something really mind blowing in gameplay. But I gotta stop looking at chat. But yeah, the game's awesome. Definitely, if you see it on sale, pick it up. But only
How much is it currently?
it's $20 currently, which I think. I mean, I thought Inside was good for $20, which was only a 3-hour game. So
Yeah.
I can definitely justify this. This game is just like artistically is such a good looking game. Like I found myself, I'm only 4 hours into Outlast 2, which I'll bring up later, but I found myself being like more thrilled in this game than ever. Than like compared to coming from Outlast 2, I can really appreciate like the art in this game. Like the actual things trying to kill you in this game are just spectacles to look at, really. But for the most part. But yeah, the game is awesome. Just if not a little too short. Actually, it's pretty damn short. Other than that, I'll save Outlast 2 for last because I want to make that glorious segue.
Yes.
Battlegrounds is also a segue. Played some more Dark Souls. Found myself. I'm continuing to play that with the mod that makes everyone have double health, double damage. And I was dying over and over on the first boss, which I could normally beat with my eyes closed. So I've really been enjoying that mod. I'm about to restart my character because I made one level up wrong. I've leveled up Dex and I should have gotten Strength. So I want to get rid of that 2 hours of progress just for that little mistake. So it's cool. I feel like I'm really getting that Dark Souls feel over again with this. And just seeing every enemy like kind of recolored for a Red Phantom is just so cool. And then other than that, I played some more Persona 5, but I've really been chipping away at that game. I haven't really sat down. The way that game is paced, you just want to keep going and going and going. Like you don't want to stop playing it. It's a really good game. But yes, I played Battlegrounds with some good buddies of mine. Didn't get any wins. Pretty sad about that. Struggled with the sniper rifle because of the goddamn window hitboxes. Hopefully,
How many hours
really,
you got in Battlegrounds now?
I'm sitting at 30 right now, which nothing crazy, but really loving that game. In a game like Battlegrounds, 30 hours played. So much of that is just,
that's not that much.
Not doing much.
Scheme.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're getting
the games take a long time, but you don't really like play too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's been fun. Yeah. But I haven't finished it, but I played some Outlast 2. And yes. I wanna flip it right over to APL because I want to hear what you have to say about this game.
Okay. So Outlast 2, very obviously pretty highly anticipated. I mean, we say AAA horror game, but it's not a $60 game. It's a $30 game. But when it comes to, this genre, Outlast was a pretty big, big influence when it comes to,
Oh yeah.
first person horror and all that stuff, and a lot of stuff it done. Whistleblower DLC in that game was really good. So this was pretty highly anticipated game. And I was lucky enough to get a key from the gentleman over at Red Barrel. And, I'm going to say, though, what my thoughts are about the game. And my thoughts are that this game had a lot of similar issues to Resident Evil 7, which was a game I did enjoy this year, or last year, excuse me. Would have been last year at this point, right? Or no, was it this year?
It was this year. It was January.
It was January. It was the beginning of
year.
this year. I thought it was December of 2016. But pretty decently strong start. I think the first couple hours of the game are probably the strongest that I've played now, having finished the game. It's creepy. You're playing a new character. You're not really sure what's going on. You basically, this isn't spoilers because you know this right away, but you find yourself in the Arizona desert. You're essentially your helicopter has crashed, but there are no bodies at the scene of the crash. Your wife is gone somewhere. You find out very quickly that your wife was taken by this weird cult of some kind, and then you're just basically trying to get her back and figure out what's going on while all kinds of crazy stuff goes down. And it's not it's a very beautiful game. It runs extremely well, at least it does.
Oh yeah, such a gorgeous game.
Yeah, the lighting's incredible. If you play it on a decently high setting, it's a really pretty game. It's very linear. It's not, which is similar to the last Outlast and Whistleblower. Like, that's the way the game is set up. You can't fight back, which is the same as the other Outlast games. So there are a lot of good moments where you're getting chased, and it's like, oh god, how am I going to get out of this? But once it gets, for me, again, I won't spoil as far as any of the content of the game story wise if you still want to play it. But once you get to a point where you're at, Katie, I think in the game where you get to where you're trying to get to the mines, and once you get there, for me, the game really kind of takes a bit of a, I don't know if nosedive is the right word, but I'm just going to go with the word repetitive. And it gets, there's a sequence, which again, this isn't really spoiler because this happens early on in the game, but you kind of jump in and out of this. You're not really sure what the sequence is. It seems like a memory where you're in a school, and it does this a ton in the second part of the game. And it seems like it happens over and over again without much moving in the way of story. And it kind of, the pacing and stuff of the second part of the game, it feels like, someone in my chat described it as, it feels like two games. Like, the first part of the game wanted to be like a Hills Have Eyes style experience, which was pretty creepy. And then the second part of the game really tries to feel like it reminds me a lot of Fear, if you ever played any of the Fear games. Yeah. And it just kind of, I don't know, by the time you get to the payoff at the very end of the game, it's like between a 6, 7, 8 hour game, depending on if you read everything and do everything in the game.
Only one ending?
Yes, and there's only one ending. Yes, there's only one ending. So again, I won't spoil it, but let's just say, I kept saying as I was playing through, because I was actually getting frustrated towards the end of the game, I was like, there better be a sick payoff, dude. I mean, I was kind of being facetious because I figured there wouldn't be. And for me, it fell very, very flat. And I don't think this is too spoiler. I hope it's not. If you think it's spoiler and you want to play it, don't listen. I don't think this will be a spoiler for you, Katie, but I'm just going to say that there's stuff left to interpretation. Okay, that's all I'll say. So if you want something tied up in a nice little pretty bow for you, then this is not your cup of tea.
The one thing I feared most.
Yes, and that was my biggest fear too. It's not that nothing is explained; it's that the stuff that is explained, you're like, okay, but you're like, what about all the other stuff that happened to me? And again, that's where you can start going into your own theories. So honestly, it started out with me, I was like, if it kept this pace at the beginning of the game, it'd probably been a strong 7 or 8. By the end, now that I've played through the whole thing, considering it's a $30 game, if this was a $60 game, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It's considering that it's a $30 game, I think it's priced pretty well. I think if you're somebody like you said, Katie, I was saying this in my chat, I've played a lot of horror games at this point, and yes, I still get scared and stuff like that, but I'm kind of more seasoned in that vein. So like you'll probably go slower through it if you don't really like the horror aspect, and it's a tough game. There's a lot of gross stuff in it and all that kind of stuff.
You say you'd give it a 5 out of 10? I feel like the way you're talking about it feels a little more negative than a 5.
Does it? No. I'm saying I would give it a 5 out of 10 if it was a $60 game. I think a $30 price point's pretty fair. So I kind of like, I'm between like 5.5 and like a 6. Like it's not a terrible game by any means.
Okay.
It runs really well. There's a lot of cool sequences, but it just kind of falls flat as like a full package. And again, the ending for me was a little bit rough.
How long did you say
just,
it was?
It depends. If you rush through it, I think you could do it in like 5 or 6. I think I ended up with like maybe 7 hours because I read all the notes and I tried to get all the videos and stuff like that. I don't think I got everything, but I got most of the other supplemental story. That's the other thing with the game, is that if you just run through it and don't actually collect any of the stuff, you'd really have no clue what's going on at all.
Oh, I bet you're super flaccid after that.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how much you heard, Katie, of what I said. I basically was just saying that if you're somebody that's not really like that plays a ton of horror games, you probably will go through this slower and maybe enjoy it a little bit more. But I don't know. I said it's a 5. It's a 5 or a 6 out of 10 for me.
Really? Yeah, that's
at the end again, and I'll be interested to see once you finish it. Let me know. I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, I can't really.
Kind of disappointing. Not terrible by any means, but I don't know. It's hard for me to overlook the ending and a lot of all the stuff that went down in the game, and then be like, yeah. Now there is going to be DLC for it, so maybe people in my chat when I finished it were like, well, maybe they'll tie it into a nice, pretty bow. But it's like, I don't want to finish an experience and then be like, well, the DLC is really going to flesh this out. Like, I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's not. I mean, again, I'll be happy if it does because I'll definitely play it. But it's not. That's an excuse for me.
Oh yeah,
and it feels like 2 different games. It really does. The first half for me feels very different from the second half. You can see when you play it, but I think you're going to kind of see the same thing.
Okay,
it's very different.
That's really disappointing to hear. That really actually reminds me a lot of Little Nightmares. Like, without really spoiling much on the ending for that, I was really disappointed with the story of that game. I didn't want to talk about it too much, but without spoiling too much, it doesn't feel like Inside or Limbo where there's a lot to interpret. It just feels like a lot of crazy shit just happens. And then I read that they're doing a prequel comic book series. Like, what the fuck? No, don't. Yeah. So, God, can we talk about a horror game in 2017 without having to talk about without complaining about the content per price ratio? It feels like everything that comes out, Resident Evil 7, you could beat that 9 hours.
Right. And that's why I'm honestly giving Outlast 2 the benefit, because it's a $30 game. It's not a $60 game. I think for $30 it is really reasonable. There's one ending, so there's not much replay value. I think if you really take your time and you read everything again, like 7, maybe, I don't know, maybe 8, if I think it's more like a 6-7 hour game, even if you collect everything. So that is a little bit, that bolsters the score for me, because I think if it was a $60 game, I would maybe even rate. I would be like, yeah, it's so not worth it. But
yeah, that'd be fucking insane.
It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth playing. Just don't go into it, especially into the ending. Just don't get your hopes up. Just kind of be ready to interpret things.
Good to know. Now, you don't have to answer this if you think it's going to be too big of a spoiler, or if it does it tie into the first game a lot in any way?
Yes.
If that's too much?
No. It ties into the first game. I won't tell you how, but there is a link there, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like the strongest link, but there is. It's not. It's a new characters and all that kind of stuff, but there's a small connection to the first game for sure.
Okay. Alrighty. Awesome.
In some form. So anyway, and beyond. Okay. Besides that, played some Battlegrounds. Still enjoying that game. Trying to. For me, I feel like every time they update it, my performance gets worse, but I can't tell if that's just in my head or I'm not sure. It's weird. Well, no, I mean, I can tell by FPS, because I used to get like between 80 to 100 with the settings I have, and now I get between 60 and 70. So it's really weird. I don't know what it is, and I've tried to optimize it. However, I did find one setting that really helped me was running view distance on Ultra, which may sound counterintuitive, but it loads everything in. It's a little choppy at first when you first drop, but if you're on a rig that, I mean, I'm on a 970, and my rig's not horrible, but it's not super top of the line. It's a little bit laggy at the beginning, but then my performance overall when it comes to cities and other things was way smoother. Like, I didn't get those crazy drops to 30. I was like, even in cities, I was around 50 to 60 pretty much the whole time. So I don't know. You might want to try that out if you're somebody that has some performance issues. And for me, it was mostly the drops that really frustrate me. I don't mind if I'm getting like 60 FPS consistent most of the time, which I usually can pull, sometimes higher. So
I feel like right now Battlegrounds is sort of still in a state of playing settings roulette. Trying to find the settings that work for your rig. But the last patch that addressed some of the performance issues did help my system in terms of the consistency. Like it's still not perfect, but the drops aren't as severe. And so hopefully they'll continue making it better, but it's definitely, for only having put out like 2 patches, it's gotten quite a bit better than when it launched.
No, definitely. Yeah. And it's encouraging. Like they definitely seem like they're on the right path with the game, and they know that the formula that they have is successful, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be tweaking anything within the formula. Like obviously they added the vector and some other stuff into the game, which has been neat. But yeah, I think it's safe to say, I said this in the pre-show, but I don't think this game is a fad by any means. It's definitely, I think you talked about it, Brandon, but it's basically proven that that the space has a lot of opportunity for growth if you put forth like a decent product.
Yeah, I think you look at H1Z1 as its closest competitor, and both games right now have a ton of players. So I think it's proof that maybe the market is actually bigger than one game could really address. And Battlegrounds is addressing it in a slightly different way, and they're both still seeing success. So I agree with you that, at least from my perspective, it doesn't feel like a flash in the pan, because I already have 53 hours in Battlegrounds, and before Battlegrounds came out, I wasn't really gaming that much, to be honest. Like I wasn't, I just didn't have a game to sink my teeth into. And I was like, I actually had sort of that question of like, am I actually less into games than I used to be? Like, why am I not interested in all these games I own? And then Battlegrounds comes out, and I get sucked right back in, and I'm up until 4 or 5 a.m. on a weekend playing, neglecting sleep like I used to do. So it's reproven to me that I'm still just as into games as I was before. It's just about finding that game that really, makes me want to dig in. And and Battlegrounds is like, we talked a little bit about this last week, but I'm in that phase of wanting to read, the subreddit, wanting to read the patch notes, kind of stay on top of the game as it evolves. And most other recent games, I haven't wanted to even participate in that phase, that beta phase where everything is, kind of hit and miss. There's technical issues and stuff. Like most games now, I don't want to wade through those technical issues. But I've been enjoying this game so much that it's like I'm just waiting for the next set of patch notes to come out.
No, I'm in the same boat, especially with this game for sure. It's definitely one of the more exciting releases that we've had in a long time, and I really do. I think it's really well deserved. Like the satisfying elements of the game, like the gunplay, and then just getting a win, or having a really good round with a group of your friends. Like that's it, man. That's the crack, and they nailed that part. So
like when I think about the game as it stands today, and I think about the issues I have with the game, which appear mostly all technical, right? Things like server desync and lag compensation and other things that just are like in the guts of the way you build a first-person shooter. There are some things that are not perfect with the game right now. You can run back behind a wall and you actually end up dying, because of like the interaction with the server and the other person and all that. And that stuff is frustrating. When I think about if all of that was ironed out of this game, like all of those technical issues went away, this is like actually one of the most perfect games I've played in a while, or maybe have ever played. Like the concept itself is so good that if they iron out all the technical issues, this is actually one of the most replayable games I've ever encountered.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that may sound like high praise for a game that is in alpha, but no, it really is. I agree. Thinking about it, as far as like replay value, like I have so many. I think I have like 90 hours in this game, and I feel like I've barely. I mean, doesn't. I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem maybe like a lot, but it's like I feel like I played like I don't know, like 20 hours, and it's.
I feel like you know nothing.
I feel like you can constantly be, you know, once you get the basics down, you can constantly feel like you're improving, or could have played that differently. And that's the thing that the mark of a game that has that kind of if factor to it, that it's very easy to understand. Well, I mean, it's not as accessible as like some really common shooters, but once you get the basics down, it has, you know, you then get to that skill ceiling is very high, but it's a very easily also understandable game. So it keeps you coming back. So
yeah, I think the only thing that holds the skill ceiling back right now is kind of those technical issues.
Yeah, performance for sure. Yep.
And man, just even, you know, the fact that sometimes one team member will crash, you know, and you're in like a 3 or 4 squad game, and then all of a sudden, you know, you lose because of that. But I think if they iron out all those technical issues, I think about this game in a year or two when it's in a much more mature state. Like I could see myself playing this game each night the way I'm playing it now. Like it is that replayable.
I really hope that this game just brings Brandon into games more than he is now, because I'm scrolling through your Steam library and I can't say I'm too pleased with what I'm seeing. 1.3 hours played in Dark Souls 3. No hours in Dark Souls 1. I mean, come on.
You do not want to look at my Steam library and look at the number of games I own that have 0 hours played. Because that is not going to end well for any of us.
Oh, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 1 and 2, nothing.
I own a great many games that I should have played. That is one of my great shames. But that should only speak even louder for the fact that I have like 50 plus hours in Battlegrounds already. Is like it takes a lot for me to get into a game, and I own a ton of games that I should never be devoid of having a game to play, right? But I'm like, there's something about, you know, I should play through, you know, some of those classic games, right? I should play through Dark Souls and Dead Space and all these other games that I own that I don't have to spend more money on because I already own them. But for some reason, I'm not drawn to those games, and I've been drawn to Battlegrounds. So
for sure,
I'm going to continue ignoring the, you know, thousands of games in my Steam library, and I'm going to keep playing this one for a while.
Fair enough.
Or you do have quite a handsome backlog, if you ever feel.
Yes, I have some bad habits. I'm a purveyor of many like humble bundles and stuff, where I literally will just look for a humble bundle that has like the most games I don't own, and I'm like, yeah, done. I don't even care. I don't even care what the games are. I literally I get that high off of adding games to my library.
I can tell. There are a couple in here, like Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is in here.
Absolutely.
There's one other. But now I won't go on, but yeah, I know what you mean. There's just I'm building up the
library. I'm building up the library for my future generations. You know, when I'm old enough,
the Steam family sharing.
Absolutely, Steam family sharing. You know, when I have kids old enough to play games, they're never going to have to buy a game in their lives because I'm already going to own all of them, and I'm going to say, here you go. You want a game? Play through the classics first. Get through this library, and then I'll buy you a new game.
Think of how many more Humble Bundles will be released by the time you have children, or by the time they're old enough to the point where.
Do you want? Like, I'll say, do you want? You know, they'll ask me for Call of Duty World War IV, and I'll say no. First, you can play through Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. You can play through the classic Call of Duties, and I will. And in that like in those days, I will truly mean classic, right? Because they'll be that old. So no, there's a grand plan here, or at least that's
actually the best excuse I've ever heard for building your library is that I'm building my library for future generations. I'm going to fucking use that. That's really good.
Because we know that Steam's going to be around forever. Valve,
pretty much.
Literally, like all Valve employees could quit today, right? And Valve itself would make enough money to run for eternity.
Yeah, that's true.
They could just stop doing anything, and that company would still be able to run for eternity.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's actually. I mean, I don't know if you guys are done, but that's all I've been playing. I've been playing Battlegrounds.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm done too. But that's a nice little
Battlegrounds.
I feel like we sound like fanboys, but it's really not a matter of like. It's just that good. I know people probably like that don't. And the other thing is, I want to say is I'm not somebody that enjoyed ever enjoyed the battle royale. Like I never was into H1. I never played the Arma mod. I never thought I would enjoy the battle royale game type. But that's the one thing I am seeing about this game is that a lot of people that never played any of the battle royale games or mods really enjoy this game. So because I never got it either. I was like, I don't get, like, why do people like this style of game? And anyway, so I
I'm kind of in that same camp. I think that's why I'm surprised that I have enjoyed it so much, and talking about it, you know, it's like it is just such a replayable game. And I talk about it mostly because like I want people to buy it so that I have more people to play with. Like the game is so much more fun when you're in a squad, and that's been why I've enjoyed it so much. Is I feel like I've gotten back to being able to play with a group of friends, and for a while that's what I think was keeping me from playing games as much, because I wasn't necessarily playing the same things as my friends were. And so, you know, they're off doing their own thing. I see them on, you know, on Steam, maybe when I'm on, but they're playing some game that I'm not playing. And so, like, I think there's something to be said for a game that everyone kind of gets into at the same time. And so you have other people to play with. And that is what makes the game so much more fun.
Totally agree. Totally.
I have a really, really out there question. I'm looking at Brandon's Steam page, and you have 150 hours played in Aion, like AION.
Oh yeah.
And I've never heard you talk about this game.
That was like a phase sometime during college. I had,
because there's no more Steam like store page on Steam for this.
Yeah, no, Aeon. It was sort of an experiment when I had stopped playing WoW. I tried Aeon, and like you see, 150 hours in MMO terms is literally nothing. So,
okay.
Like that 150 hours doesn't speak to how much I enjoyed the game necessarily. Like I think I basically didn't end up playing it for more than a month or two. But yeah, I think that was probably one of my most played games on Steam, just because you know, that's how MMOs go.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Aeon did not leave a great taste in my mouth. It was very grindy when it first came out, and I didn't end up sticking with it.
Okay.
Good catch. I like that you're now perusing my
Steam
Steam profile.
Library deep.
This is one of my great concerns with adding someone as a Steam friend, is you can go through.
Yeah.
You can go through and screenshot like all my playing history and call me out for various things.
This is the form of cyberbullying. So
the other thing too is that like Tribes Ascend, the Steam version, I have very little time played because it came out so late in Tribes' life, and so I feel like it's like a misnomer, because I have so much time played in Tribes, but it's not recorded anywhere.
Right.
So I look like a casual Tribes player because I didn't ever play it through Steam.
Yeah, I noticed a couple things like that too. Like I see Modern Warfare 3, you have 0 hours in that, but I've definitely seen the delicious commentary for it.
No. That is true. I have played I think I actually played one match of Modern Warfare 3, 1 or 2 matches of Modern Warfare 3. I made that commentary and I never played it again.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
That's smart though. That's because that game. Oh god.
That's one that I'm proud for you to see 0 hours on record for.
Smart man.
And here I am on APL's profile page.
Oh god.
And I see Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer number 6.
Okay. Listen, I'm not proud necessarily of that, but I did play a lot of Modern Warfare 3. I'm just saying, Brandon made the right choice. That's all.
That commentary foretold what I knew that it took other people time to figure out. It might have taken Scott many hours, but I knew it immediately.
Yeah, eventually came around.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I put in a lot of time in Modern Warfare 3 as well.
That
was the first Call of Duty that really hurt me.
This is, KD speaking of Call of Duty. What a beautiful segue you've given me.
A segue.
We talk about Modern Warfare 3, and we don't talk about it in the fondest light. Like, not the worst Call of Duty maybe ever. Ghost was pretty bad. But, it's just, I would think that kind of marked after Modern Warfare 3, and then I guess Ghost was technically still boots on the ground, right? But then we started getting into the jetpack phase, and then the phase that we're in with Infinite Warfare, where there's literally avatars that are robots running around. Like,
Yep.
I don't even know what the game is anymore. So you know what? We've gone to space. You know, like, where else can we go? Well, it turns out that there were rumors for a while that Call of Duty was going to be, going back to boots on the ground. Again, that should be in bold so that it's a buzz phrase. Okay, boots on the ground, and back to its roots. And guess what? We had the Call of Duty reveal for the next game coming out later this year, and guys, World War II. Are we hyped? Hey, come on. Anybody shocked? Anybody super excited like I am?
That name is just so. The first time I referred to it as Call of Duty World War II, I felt like I was going to puke a little bit in my mouth. Just referring to it like by that title. I feel like it feels like you're talking about a Call of Duty game that you can't remember the actual title for. Like, oh, Call of Duty World War II? Like,
that's actually
that's
the most well said.
That is actually a great analogy.
Game.
That's exactly what I think about. It's like it's you would that's the game, that's the name you would call it when you can't remember the actual name.
What's that? Yeah, Call of Duty.
That's like what your dad would call it. He's like, what's that Call of Duty World War II game?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
So first thoughts on we talked about this a bit before we went live, but we're gonna rehash some of this. So what did you guys think of we'll get into the actual reveal event and stuff, but what did you think of the trailer?
I'll let me, if I'm being completely honest, I am excited for this game.
Okay.
And I know I'm the Activision lackey. I've been whipped. I've been thrown onto the wagon. I don't know what kind of imagery I'm trying to make here, but I'm on the hype train, honestly. Like, I'm not like gonna shell out $60 for this game, but I want it to be good. I'm excited with what it's gonna be. I was one of those people that watched the stream live. I was getting into it. I really like the direction they're going. I have faith in I talked about this last episode. I have faith in what's her name, Sledgehammer Games. I think they'll do a good job. Okay. And I'll take this over another sci-fi Call of Duty any day of the week. And I'm happy for this direction. And I feel like I'm in the minority here. So I'm gonna hear what you guys have to say.
Sure. I mean, I only had one thought.
Yeah.
You're a long way from Texas, farm boy.
Oh, no. God, that awful closer.
I think that's. I mean, I know that this is like just so Call of Duty, it hurts. But I can't stand the cliches in the trailers. Like, the trailer is just so difficult to watch. And
it's painful for me.
And as someone from Texas, it's like, it doesn't even offend me. I just think it's so lazy to have this tagline that's like, you're a long way from Texas, farm boy. Like, I just don't even get like what. There's no substance there, right? There's no substance there. It's like, oh, haha, stereotype. They're farms in Texas. It just feels lazy to me for that gross caliber of game.
I think the writing for scenes like that in Call of Duty has just always been consistently generic. Like,
but that's
all
the thing. That's the thing that I think that's what you expect from Call of Duty, right? That's what you're not going there for, for like super impactful story. But that's what they're trying to sell as different about this game, which I think maybe we'll get into more. But like, they're trying to sell this very sincere idea around World War II, and I just don't. I think you have to start with having like dialogue that matters more than something like that.
Yeah. And the more I think about it, the more I just remember I can't be excited for this, because I know that Activision is going to dick me again, like they've dicked us all. My thoughts on this game are like, oh, it's going to be World War II. Look at the trailer. Look at the stuff they showed off. This is going to be such a sophisticated, game. And then months from now, we're going to guess who made this? Sledgehammer Games. Guess they also made the fucking gingerbread man costume in Advanced Warfare. That shit's going to make a reappearance. They're going to bring back the bacon camo. They're going to be supply drops. So I know we're gonna get fucked over, and it just I know it's gonna happen.
Can I just say, one of my favorite points of this podcast every time is Katie coming with an opinion about his honest first thoughts, and then Brandon having you or me talk and then him just flipping a full 180 the other direction. No, because I agree with you. I think
I feel like KD is like the KD is that gamer we all want to be. He's the guy that's excited, and then we crush that excitement.
You crush my dream.
And then his excitement
but then he gets
is
mad.
crushed.
I like how he gets himself worked up as he thinks about it. I see, like, because I'm just listening. You're right.
If you looked up cautious optimism in the dictionary, you'd see just a picture of my face.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey
so,
man,
yeah.
no, I appreciate you being honest. I mean, I get, like, I understand the excitement of it being not in fucking space and jetpacks and trying to get back to the gameplay of it, like being more rooted, you know, on the ground. I get that.
Yeah. Oh my god. Real quick, that's another thing too. They go on and on about this being sophisticated, and then they show off a screenshot for zombies making an appearance. Like, what the fuck, dude? You're really gonna?
I think
sells.
it's like the fact that co-op, they're having obviously they're bringing in back Nazi zombies. It's like, come on, you're gonna try and sell me that this is like sincere World War II, you know, like
we did years of research.
Yeah, like historical, you know, accuracy and all this, and then you're gonna talk about Nazi zombies. Like, come on, that is the most Call of Duty thing ever.
Yeah. They've dicked us. What am I saying? Come on. And then the live stream they were doing, one of the co-hosts was this YouTuber that they brought on, which I haven't heard of, and like he's not a very good host. He would like interrupt and be like, "Oh, hold up, guys! I'm getting tweets asking about the co-op mode, so I have to ask, guys, are we gonna see Nazi zombies?" Like, I thought that was precious.
That's pretty good. Pretty good accent, actually.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. UK
By the way, are you talking
YouTuber.
about OJ, who is a great host when he does CS stuff? But I don't know about so much.
Is that who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
I remember there being some YouTuber on there who.
There probably was a YouTuber, maybe not the main host. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole event, so I don't have to
yeah, it wasn't the main host at all. It was. But I actually quite liked the main host. He was energetic. He was.
Yeah, I think that was probably OJ though.
Even though I could feel him getting a paycheck every time he said "boots on the ground." But
like the thing is, I don't trust them to deliver on all these things they say, because their past games haven't given this type of reverence to the subject matter. Like, I feel like the we were talking about this before, Scott, you know, like the fact that we have examples like press F to pay respects and, you know, just silly things like that. Like, do you really trust Call of Duty to be cautious and careful with the subject matter around World War II? And they're saying that they did. Like the co-founder Sledgehammer they were talking to a historian, and the co-founder Sledgehammer, this is a quote, he says, Morgan, there's the historian, told us all these profoundly moving stories of sacrifice and atrocities and heroism. From the beginning of the war to the end, this whole thing affected millions of lives. We really wanted the game to get in touch with the personal stories. Now, you can say that, but like, are you actually going to do that? Are you going to, like, is this game going to be Spec Ops The Line style sincere? Or is this game going to be Call of Duty?
We'll see.
I mean, it's, I think we know the answer to that. And the other, God, we really need to dig into the PC Gamer, I have to say. We got to get into their little piece that they did where they said, don't try to sell Call of Duty to us as anti-war. And it's in regards to, you know, because we're talking about the event as a whole, right? And there was some quotes made by Michael Condrey during the live stream. And to say this is a little bit, I don't even know. I'm just going to read it. Okay. When we started this journey almost 3 years ago, it was really about wanting to tell an impactful narrative and story, largely to ensure this sort of conflict doesn't happen again. So again, you know, it's a pretty lofty goal. We're going to make a game that's going to be so impactful on the youth that it's going to make them go, you know what, man, maybe we really don't want World War III. Not that was ever I don't even know if that's a thought for people, but that also makes me think, like, are there people?
But the game will be so powerful that they will think about future conflicts in the context of World War II and rethink their lives in a way that avoids this sort of conflict in the future. It will be so powerful that it moves them to change the course of their lives.
Call of Duty World War II. Can we put a DualShock 4 in Donald Trump's hands to somehow influence his insight?
Save us. Oh man, it's amazing. And then so I mean he goes. This article actually is really. We should just link this in chat because I'll even shout it out because we're not going to read the whole thing. I won't spoil it. You should actually go read it, but it's by Tyler Wilde and it's just great. He goes in. But anyway, it's a sorry, not Tyler Wilde. That was the other article. Where is it? This one's by.
Oh yeah.
This one's by Tyler Wilde. I was right. Sorry, I was on two different articles. And he makes another great point too.
Oh, it's so savage. I love this.
This is the most savage part of the entire article. He goes, if COD World War II causes any of its players to further investigate fascism, war, and genocide, then I will be glad. But it's hard to take such a goal seriously from the series that coined the word kill streak, invited you to drop an atomic bomb on your opponents as a reward, and famously reduced mourning to a button tap. Then he links the press F to pay respects video, which I'm part of which I totally forgot about in Advanced Warfare. And I mean, really, like, again, and I'm not saying I understand, like, I get it. I understand that it's not just like Activision's doing, they got to market the game, they got to get people to buy it and all this stuff. And all these guys may have at Sledgehammer these super lofty goals about changing the world. But really, Brandon, what did you say in the pre-show that you felt like this feels like people that are telling themselves this so that they can get up and go to work in the morning and really feel like they're having a massive impact on like humanity? And it's like, whatever, like, be happy with what you do, but like, this is like, talk about overselling. It's Call of Duty, for fuck's sake. You're not working on. I want to believe that like Sledgehammer could have so much artistic freedom that they could take such a hard turn that they try and deliver on these claims and maybe do deliver on some of them. But I just don't believe that, because the Call of Duty series has taught us in its history not to believe them, right? When they say it's going to be super sincere and all this, because they've never really been able to do that. So it's just an interesting, it just does really feel like a marketing tactic, or like something where you do sort of convince yourself that that's what you're doing so that you can feel better about your work or feel like you're having some impact. But at the end of the day, like, you're making Call of Duty. And so I think if they were making like a new franchise and they were basing it on World War II, I would have a lot more belief that this was like a real thing. But given the fact that it is Call of Duty, and you know that the gameplay is going to be fast-paced, and you know that they're going to have skins, you know that they're going to have all this stuff, right? Because it's Call of Duty. I just think it feels a little disingenuous to talk about, you know, all this stuff and like talking to a historian and these super powerful stories and all this, when it's like, it's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty, right? You know that when you're developing the game, you're thinking about like no scopes and quick shots and like you're thinking about the gameplay. And there's like a handful of people thinking about the story, but ultimately, like, at the end of the day, you're thinking about how I make money off of skins and maps, and how I like what the maps are going to be, and how it's Call of Duty, right? Convince me that it's not Call of Duty, right? Do it. If they do it one time, then maybe I'll believe them in the future, but they haven't done it before. They haven't been able to get a story that is like powerful enough that the kind of things they're talking about now feel like anything more than marketing tactics.
Yeah, I feel like it would be truly great if it was, you know, a really intense depiction of war. But I feel like at the end of the day, we're still going to have you jump out of the helicopter, you strangle Hitler with the cable, you land down, you smoke a cigar. There's still going to be shit like that. As you jump out.
No, but you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Because like that's what Call of Duty is known for. Man. I'm not gonna say that I've never enjoyed some of the Call of Duty single player, because there have been some cool things they've done, right? And it's usually it's action packed. You know, there's like you do sometimes get that sense of urgency, but that doesn't. It's not like it's a super sincere, somber story. And I feel like that exactly what you're saying is. I know it's a joke, but it doesn't feel that far-fetched. No. Like that you're gonna like jump out of a B-52 and end up strangling Hitler. Like that could happen in a Call of Duty game.
Think about the
Absolutely could.
build up to he's got you on the ground. He puts a big ass boot on your chest. He takes a big swig of Mountain Dew, looks you in the eyes and says, "You're a long way from Texas, boy."
In the southern drawl, not even in
no German accent.
German English.
Yeah,
German
literally no
accent.
German accent at all. Southern drawl in English.
Oh.
Somebody please.
And that
We can-
line, we think that line is just like marketing for the trailer, and it's actually the most significant line in the game.
Oh, it's the turning point. Press F to
Prove me wrong,
Strangle.
Sledgehammer.
press F to strangle Hitler. Like
Oh
the
my
Texas
God.
farm boy you are.
I want that so badly. I want them to just say fuck it and just have fun with it and put that in the game. Like, think about that'll make headlines. That'll sell copies if they put in press F to strangle Hitler.
That would be massive. That
Just
would
go.
be-
I wonder. I sort of wonder if that's the direction maybe they started to take, but then they pulled back and tried to lean into this this sincere tone because of sort of the current state of things, right?
I was
the
just
political state.
gonna say that. Yeah.
I feel like maybe because if this game has been in development for 3 years, I could have seen this game being something very different 3 years ago. That then now they're
Yeah.
trying to give some reverence to it because it's not something you want to joke about as much as maybe you used to.
No, that, and I also think it's a direct reaction to the poor sales
Yeah,
of Infinite
that's true.
Warfare and how far the franchise has, like, it's in space and shit. They're like really push like historically accurate. You know what I mean? Like, these are all more PR buzzwords to make people go like, wow, they really taking this serious. They really are trying to retreat from the direction the series has gone because they can't go any further into the fucking future. So again, like, I think it's a mix. I agree with that too, though. I think it's also a cause of the times, but it's just like it's more like, anyway, it just feels, it's exactly what you said, Brandon. It's like, I don't believe a word of this until you show it to me. And the other thing is, he makes a good point in the article about not trying to sell Call of Duty as some anti-war bullshit, is that this is a game that I don't know. He has so many quotes in here, but like, I get the feeling that the guys working on this game, like, he has a quote here from Condry. He says, "A chance to tell the epic, gritty, visceral story of the world's greatest conflict, but it's also authentic. A term, by the way, used to describe every other Call of Duty game, no matter how far-flung the fiction. And yet I never recall my grandfather referring to war as epic or gritty or visceral." And oh God, he goes in.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. And then he makes the point about how, like, lots of people writing articles say that, you get more empathy by playing through the characters as opposed to watching, when you're fighting through an interactive character. And I'm like, maybe in some games, but not in Call of Duty, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty is like, it's exactly what you said.
Mean that you didn't feel empathy when you had to literally press F on your keyboard to move forward in the sequence to pay respects?
Wow.
I didn't. Maybe I should have. Maybe I'm just a fucking cold-hearted bastard.
And one thing that's worth noting too is just the marketing is working. Like, people are very happy with this. You look at like the review trailer or the reveal trailer on YouTube compared to last year's epic dislike bar. It's not bad at all. Like, people are happy with this.
Well, but I think that's because they missed the mark so hard last year that of course they would do better than last year.
Well,
because this is well-worn territory, right? Like, we've had World War II games before, whereas last year was like kind of a little bit of a shot in the dark, right? Because it's not based on a historical conflict that actually happened. It's based on this like idea of future warfare. So I think they played it safe with World War II after that. So I'm not surprised that people are happy with that. Because it's like that's the gameplay will naturally be more of that classic Call of Duty because, like, hello, there weren't jetpacks in World War II, right?
Sure.
So you kind of know what you're getting into.
Have you seen the top secret Nazi technology of those floating? I'm being dead serious.
Well,
They could incorporate that shit.
But that's maybe what I'm talking about. Is like, I could see that if that's like some sort of perk or something that's in the game, is like this technology, that the jetpack technology that actually did exist in World War II, but absolutely had like no impact on the war whatsoever,
Right.
then
And if they try to
that will
spin a story about some fucking character who was like the secret jetpack missions of the Nazis,
Oh my God.
like I'm fucking done. But that's what they'll try to do. But they'll call it authentic because there'll be some Wiener Schnitzel Roger or something that existed that worked on jetpacks. But it won't. It'll be like, yes, he was a real person. Did he have any impact on the war? No, absolutely not. But anyway. I also think that it means, like, the other part that the article pointed out was that when they said that these are real stories and this is really going to show us like war as it was and all that kind of stuff, is that he thinks that they're just going to have like more of those kind of controversial scenes that, like, remember the Russian where you kill everybody in the airport?
Yeah, no Russian. Yeah.
Like no Russian. Like it's going to be more stuff like that where it's they may have been true stories. I mean, that wasn't a true thing, but. Like there's going to be more things like that are going to be kind of not necessarily edgy, but like show that kind of stuff.
I actually think I would want them to do that if this truly is their goal. And I don't think, I mean, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't think they will. Like, I don't, if for example, they have, a part of the game where like you're actually, seeing sort of scenes and visuals from like a concentration camp, right? And it's not, it's like, it is actually trying to be authentic, and like you're seeing potentially, I don't know, horrible depictions of people actually being killed. Like that, I don't think that's like necessarily the best thing for Call of Duty, if I'm being perfectly honest. But that would be sincere, right? That would be like an attempt at a real depiction. I think it's like that line you mentioned is like, I never recall my grandfather referring to the war as epic or gritty or visceral. It's like, yeah, because the people that lived through it, like they actually saw some heinous things. Right. And so I think if you want the game to be more like real and depict real things that happened, there's going to be some stuff in there that will make people uncomfortable. And I don't see Call of Duty being the game that does that around World War II. Like there's one, I think it's different to do that around like a sort of a fictional thing that didn't actually happen, like the thing you're talking about with the airport, where you're like shooting up an airport. But I think it's different when you're dealing with like World War II and actual things that happened.
No, totally. It's funny that you say about the concentration camp and stuff, because I actually, that is 100. That now we're honing in on like if that's the direction that they go in. But again, this is the single. I guess I know they're talking about the single player campaign because that's all that's been revealed so far. But yeah, I mean, I could see that, and like you said, I don't think that's necessarily the best direction to go either. Because I think there's another company that does that era of games better, and that's DICE.
But
in general.
But I'm just saying, if they want to live up to the marketing they're doing here, I think that's what they would have to do.
No, I totally agree.
I don't think they'll do it because that stuff is controversial, and I don't necessarily know that it will sell games.
Yep. No, I totally agree. Shit. Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, there we go. We just spent a good 25, 30 minutes on Call of Duty. Anything else to say about, I mean, Katie, are you still, listen, I know that you said, what did you say? Cautiously optimistic is your.
Yeah. Those are my words.
Are you still cautiously optimistic after us?
I am, dude. I mean, if, let's say this game comes out and is exactly our worst fears, it's just not serious at all. It doesn't pay any respects. It's at the level that they've talked about. I won't be surprised at all. I know the eventual. I know the what am I trying to say? The initial product is definitely going to be better than Call of Duty World War II a couple months down the line when they start changing the ecosystem. They start adding in, like, because I know it's going to start off and it'll be like Black Ops 3. There will be no supply drops. It'll be, speaking just for multiplayer, it'll be a well balanced, what we've come to, what we hope from like older Call of Duties, and then a couple months down the line they're going to completely betray the tone or the ecosystem that they've set up for the game, and that's not going to surprise me at all. But I feel like the potential is there, and I mean I'm still hoping that we'll get exactly what they have hyped up to us, but I'm not going to get my hopes to the point where I'll be disappointed. Like I'm going to be expecting the cuckening.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, we will wait and see. This is not a game that I'm expecting to even pick up. I mean, initially, like off the bat, like I'll see how it goes. I didn't buy Infinite Warfare. What's before Infinite Warfare? It was
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops 3. I own it only because I got it for free. I didn't buy it.
I thought that was a good game.
Yeah, it's not a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad game. All right.
That's a whole other tangent we could go down.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to something even more ridiculous than Infinite Warfare. Okay?
Something more heartbreaking.
But yes, believe it or not. You know, guys, I don't know how many of you have played Tekken 7, but you may remember the kangaroo in that game. His name is Roger Jr. He is no longer in the Western version of Tekken 7 because, well, of pressure from animal rights groups. He's a boxing kangaroo. I'm sure if you play the arcade version too of this game, which a lot of people have, he's definitely a go-to. He always used to be a go-to pick. I don't know why. I have this. I played a lot of Tekken back in the day because it was on PlayStation and stuff like that. I enjoyed it, but in the arcade, I always had fun.
Oh yeah,
one
of the most badass characters in the series.
Really? Yeah,
I remember.
He's a kangaroo with his kangaroo son in the pouch, who also has boxing gloves.
That's right. It's
sick.
It's really sick. Well, guess what? He has been removed from the game, and
unfucking believable.
You know, the reason for this, I also left you added this article, Brandon, because of read the under the headline, the second part.
Well, hold on. We should read the rationale for removing Roger in the first place.
Right.
I see. It's like basically because a kangaroo is getting punched. Like that's
right. On YouTube,
that's why they decided to remove it, because people were upset about a kangaroo being punched in the game. And then
exactly,
like in addition to that, people who know the Tekken series will know that there's also a bear, Kuma, in the series.
Yeah.
And apparently Kuma will still be in Tekken 7 because it is obviously stronger than a human being. Which is just the most
that's the rationale.
Incredible rationale for removing a kangaroo and not removing a bear, is because the bear is obviously stronger than a human being.
I like that. Also, that implies that like kangaroos are some helpless. Like kangaroos are fucking terrible. They can kill you with their hind legs, dude. They're not pushovers. So
I'm so sad. I would have loved this character. I'm just looking at images. Like his father is a character, Alex, and it's like this velociraptor with boxing gloves on that was in Tekken 2 and Tag Tournament. What a damn shame. Like I would have loved to play this kangaroo with boxing gloves. Dude, how many people do you realistically see being upset once they start punching the crap out of this kangaroo? Is this about that video from earlier this year where that kangaroo attacked that guy's dog and got punched in the face?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's the one he's talking about. And I like that there hasn't been a lawsuit, there hasn't been anything. He's literally doing this as a preemptive strike. And he even says in the quote, he says that there probably no animal rights activists are even going to play our fucking game, but we're doing it to get ahead of the curve.
Oh my God.
We're pandering to these fucking mongoloids before, like, you know what I mean? Before anything even, I mean, I get it, but come on. It's like, and once you do this once for this kind of stuff, it's like, where do you draw the line? I guess you draw the line at the bear's so powerful that it can kill a human. So
yeah,
they'll be okay with that you fight a bear. But I think he's missing the point, is that most people that have problems with this would go, well, animals can't give consent. So that would be.
What the fuck?
But that's really the cause for a lot of people when it comes to a lot of things. It's like, animal, like vegans, and I mean, whatever, you have your right to your opinion, but it goes to, so I, even then it's like
you're okay with us beating down legendary character King, who is a man attempting to emulate a leopard.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. There's so many. You know what I'm realizing? The Tekken has so many of those possible fires. If you really want to look at it, that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like you're saying, like you've got. I mean, it looks like the one dude that wears the tie. It looks like he has a skin. It's definitely a skinned animal on his body.
Yeah,
he has a.
King literally skinned a leopard.
Skinned a leopard and
hollowed out his skull to put it on his face, and yet he remains in the game.
That's a great point.
Look at this hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think, oh man.
And you leave Kuma in, which means you leave Panda in, and you're telling me people are okay with a panda
Yeah.
being beaten down?
That's right.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, this is one of those, like, you really should have just fucking left it alone, and it wouldn't have even been a story. If
That
You're
is
okay. You're okay with
lost.
Paul draped in an American flag losing a match? You might as well be burning the flag in Tekken, and you're okay with that?
Exactly.
You're okay with that, but not with a kangaroo, huh? Okay.
I can't stand for this. Something must be done. How
That's
much
rough.
time do we have before Tekken 7 releases? Like, there's got to be something that we can do. We need a change.org petition.
I mean, it comes out on PC on June 2nd, so you've got a little over a
it's
month
over.
to
It's
start
over.
those petitions.
Oh my god.
Anyway, well, there you go.
I'm legitimately sad, honestly.
The fact that we are
Question.
talking about this should tell you that it was mildly
I
slow
like-
news week.
Yeah,
A little bit.
not much of stuff.
And this is even this one quick hit we have should tell you it's even lighter than you first anticipated.
Oh.
Because the classic Night Trap game is getting a 25th anniversary re-release for the PS4 and the Xbox One. And you may remember it as the Sega CD cult classic, fondly, in that generation of...
That's how I remember it. I had a copy of Night Trap, and I just remember it being very difficult. Like, it was a very difficult game. I guess I would have been like 8, and I remember trying to play it, and I had no idea how I could win.
Right. Yeah, probably not a game actually. I'm surprised you had Night Trap so young.
I mean, I think my dad bought it, and I just, I happened to play it. But
right.
Yeah, I definitely did not. I don't think I ever won. Like, I don't even know what winning means in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. If you're interested in giving it a try, 25 years old. 25 years old Night Trap is pretty impressive.
Crazy.
Wow.
Oh, there's an announcement. I didn't watch the announcement trailer. I'll put
I've watched it. It's
fucking amazing. I'll put it into the chat.
This might be if there was ever a game that was the complete opposite of my interests, it would be fucking Night Trap.
This game, you know what? This game has a really good potential as a really fun stream game, though, because it's so ridiculous. These games lend themselves to audience participation just because they're so ridiculous. Especially if you've never experienced one of these before, so might have to consider that.
Especially because it was like an FMV game.
Yeah,
it wasn't even.
exactly.
It wasn't like a video game. It was like real recorded scenes and stuff. It was very different than most games.
Yep, exactly.
Looking at the comments now, it's funny how this game used to be banned and now it's just rated teen. Other times.
That's right. It's crazy.
But I think you're right. I bet it'll be a popular, stream type game. Just such a, it's like such a weird thing. You're right. It kind of is like a cult classic.
Yeah, definitely. All right, KD, take it away. It's gonna do it for
we're there
yours.
already.
It's your turn.
Oh man, a lot of these games that we talk about in the new release section, I just kind of throw in there and talk about them when we get to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to do my best. Which is not a practice.
I thought you were going to say, but today I did my research.
Yeah, I was waiting.
I'm sorry. I left a crucial part out. Today, but let's go start with the new releases.
Appreciate you letting the audience know that you and them are learning about these games for the first time
right
now.
Yeah. Complete transparency. Like when you do this every week, when you grab things with the smallest amount of polish, and you throw them in there. But no, this actually looks like a pretty promising week in gaming. I'm going to switch up the order a little bit from what we have on the dock, and I want to get this Titan out of the way. I don't know if you gentlemen remember Prey coming out, the remake of its first game, Prey.
Yep.
But yeah, Prey comes out May 5th. New RPG / horror action FPS from Bethesda, from Arcane Studios that made Dishonored, in which you go through the abandoned space station, sort of Dead Space / Rapture kind of feel to it. There's like physics puzzles. There's like environment manipulation. It looks like a pretty damn good game. I haven't really played the first, or I mean, I didn't know anything about this game from until they announced this at Bethesda's E3 conference. But it's finally coming out May 5th, and yeah, you can get your hands on that. Game looks pretty cool, pretty promising. Yeah. So next up is the next title in a long-running series, The Legend of Heroes, which has been going on for God knows how long with so many sub-series. This latest one, The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the Third, which is a similar naming scheme to Saints Row the Third. It's the third game in the Trails in the Sky RPG series from Nihon Falcom, which are known for their damn good soundtracks. So this game will be no different. Might be the only thing I purchased from this game is just the soundtrack. But yeah, it's still going with that kind of old art style, but it is a brand new game. Don't be fooled by the 1 gigabyte of RAM required or the Core 2 Duo required processor, minimum OS being Windows XP. But, this is a new game.
Okay.
Don't be fooled. But yeah, so yeah, that comes out May 3rd. No word on the price yet. But those games I've heard good things about them. I haven't tried them myself, but they go on sale often, so I might pick one up. Add it to the backlog. Now, you want to talk about embarrassing Steam library? Please don't go to Katie's. Please don't go to
just gonna
Steam
say.
staff.
Have a lot of,
I don't know that
lot
it
of
could be
fun
much more
things.
embarrassing than a lot of the things you've shared on this show.
That's true. We know a lot about you from your own admission. I mean, would you happen to have a game called Metal Waltz Anime Tank Girls on your Steam library?
Not yet.
Pre-ordered? Okay.
But ask me on May 3rd when Metal Waltz Anime Tank Girls comes out on Steam. One thing to note is the English language is not supported for this title, despite the about this game and the page being translated pretty well. But this is a Japanese game.
You really need dialogue for this game. I feel like if you're buying a game called Anime Tank Girls, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a military strategy plus RPG plus collection plus story. You can tell this wasn't translated too well. It's a story of the war between mankind and the tank monsters.
The tank monsters. Of course.
That's right.
The hope of the human relies on the girls, whose bodies have been rebuilt and combined with armor parts. All the girls are under your command. Lead your army. Won the war. That is as written. Oh, man. That is some good shit.
I feel like if you were going to have tank parts, you should probably cover up the other parts of your body that are exposed. And I don't know that I agree with their military tactics here. I see one of the girls here wearing what appears to be a bikini and bare leggings. And then she obviously has like a tank as one of her arms. Yeah. But I feel like she's got like a lot of exposure there.
Yep. How do I pre-order this? Where's that? Oh, okay. No word on the price yet, but if you're dying to play with your anime tank girls, that sentence is just so gross. That comes out on May 3rd. Next up is a game that originally came out November 17th, 1998, which I've played with friends of mine on the Nintendo 64. This game is called, I don't know if you guys have played this, but this game is called Extreme G2.
Oh, yeah.
XG2. This game is getting, this game is getting a facelift coming to Steam on May 2nd.
Shit, such a classic.
Dude, this is a blast
I know.
from the past.
Oh, yeah.
The game was so fun.
It really was. A lot of people, at face value, you look at this and you think, the poor man's F-Zero.
Right.
But no, dude, this game was dope.
It was more than that. No, it was really fun.
Oh, yeah, it was different from F-Zero. Yeah, I remember playing a lot of this.
Yep.
For sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah, May 2nd, no price yet, but that is going on the wish list, most definitely. Two more. We're looking at this game called World to the West, which is a standalone follow-up to Teslagrad, which I've not played, but I know is, a reasonably successful indie game that came out, which I know absolutely jack shit about, but I've heard the title before. But this is a follow-up to it. It's an indie action RPG. It's got, let me see. Let's educate myself here. APL, you can edit this, right? You can cut this out. It's just gonna be like
yeah,
10
I'll edit all of
seconds
this
right
while
over
you figure out what's going
Let's see.
on.
Play as 4 heroes, each hailing from individual nations and possessing unique identities and abilities. Boom. Uncover secrets. Boom. More secrets.
Boom.
Exploration is key. Boom. Oh man, that takes me back to the CS:GO shoutcasting. Boom.
Oh.
But no, this looks like a pretty game. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So yeah, Worlds of the West, developed by Rain Games. Yeah, they also made Tesla Grad, which okay, yeah, I remember this game. Go ahead.
Can I just say this next? I'm sorry, I know you're still in World of the West.
Oh no,
Before you transition to the next game, this sounds exactly like what happens when I'm finally able to jerk my gherkin late at night. You know what I mean?
This next game is called Tumbleseed.
You know, they just kind of tumbles out. It's not exactly like super excited to be out, but it.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry.
oh my god. I want to. This game really does describe human genitalia deceptively deep. It's about balancing a seed up a dangerous and ever-changing mountain.
Oh wow.
There's definitely some symbolism going on here.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. It's this game looks like it's a cute little roguelike game where you balance a rock or a seed or whatever this thing is up a beautifully crafted mountain. That's about it. This looks like a very simple game, but it's a decent looking game. I thought I'd throw this on there. Nothing, you know, I'm not going to put it up next to Prey. But yeah, it's called Tumbleseed. No price on it yet, but this comes out May 2nd. So keep an eye on that. This, you know, I part of me wants to add every single game on Steam on this list on the off chance that it picks up as like the next big stream hit, or fucking PewDiePie picks this up and it gets millions of views. So I can say, no, you heard about it first on the KBMOD podcast.
That's right. That's good.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up this week. Let's jump into some viewer questions.
Yes.
With a banger of a question right here. This is going to take about, I hope the next 20 minutes are freed up, guys. This is going to be, we got a question.
Here we go.
From B Tier K2, good friend of ours. He asks, which of the 4 fast food chain places would you eliminate and why? McDonald's, Starbucks, Taco Bell, and Domino's.
Yeah.
I actually don't think this is a very difficult choice.
I don't either. I don't think. But what's your
definitely? I'm stuck between.
Is Starbucks fast food? I don't put these in the same.
Yeah,
I guess I would say
Domino's fast food.
I mean,
it seems like we have to just evaluate the four options he's given and say we have to remove one.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to look at it.
Okay. I mean, I'd either get rid of McDonald's or Taco Bell.
What?
Okay, that's no.
That's those are wrong answers.
McDonald's has nothing. Well, almost nothing. Garbage burgers.
All right,
fries better at Wendy's.
All right, you got this question. You got this question wrong, Scott. What's your answer?
I mean, honestly, for me, it's between Domino's and Starbucks here.
What?
You got to pick one.
If I have to pick one,
I can't believe you're even questioning this.
Yeah, for me, I thought it was easy, not because McDonald's was an obvious answer, but because Starbucks or Domino's for me are obvious. I mean, not so much obvious. Like, I barely ever go to Starbucks, so it might be easier for me to say Starbucks, but I don't also, I mean, I try to avoid ever having to order from Domino's, so.
Domino's is so obviously the easy answer.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
This question did not say that, like, these are the only 4 places you can eat, right? In which case you would be eliminating your only pizza option. It's literally just saying which of these 4 should cease to exist. And the answer is clearly Domino's, because there's nothing special or proprietary about what they do. No. Taco Bell has some things that you can't, like, regardless of the quality of Taco Bell, they have some things you can't get other places. Same thing at McDonald's, right? Some things that you can't really get other places. Starbucks is, I mean, you're not getting rid of Starbucks. That's complete foolishness. Domino's, there's not only is there better pizza elsewhere.
Oh, sure.
Domino's
Unchained,
does
any
not does not have anything desirable to keep.
No.
You should just get rid of them.
You know
Like,
what's really fucked
you're
up
right,
about
you're right.
Domino's though?
this is not even
because-
like a would you rather. This is like, can we actually get rid of Domino's? Like, they're not providing any extra value to the consumer pizza space.
I agree.
You're right. That's
Listen,
a good way to
but they got the Domino's tracker, dude. You can watch how long it takes.
You
to
can
get to your
figure out
house.
exactly how long it's going to take for your garbage pizza to reach
Can I
your
just say,
house.
every time I've ordered Domino's and watched the tracker run and it says they're at my house, they're never at my house.
They're not.
And about an hour and a half later, I'm calling them asking, that sandwich that I ordered, because your pizza's fucking awful and your actual sandwiches are better than any of your pizza offerings, is probably freezing cold. Yeah, he left the store about an hour ago. He should be there soon. I have never, can I say that I have had,
Oh, wow.
haven't had that many Domino's experiences, but almost every single one has been uniquely terrible in different parts of the country. Like I mean, I'm sure it depends on how, because they're franchise, so it depends on how it's run. But I have, yeah, you're really starting to raise my, because I've repressed this, but I never have a good experience at Domino's ever.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did get this question
just
wrong.
think-
If you're thinking about it, like from,
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
was like, well, you're gonna like get rid of McDonald's and leave Domino's as if you
You're right,
desire
yeah.
Domino's.
Yeah, McDonald's has redeeming qualities. Like I like the McFlurries they have. Domino's, they have like
How are
nothing.
people in this chat gonna say Domino's is better than Papa John's?
What?
That is. I can't even get into
What are
that.
you eating?
I can't even get into someone on
only
that level
thing-
of thinking.
Ooh.
No, the only thing I can say is that it is true. Like KFCs are good, like in Europe and other places. Like I know that there's an actual quality difference. I can only assume that the offerings in other countries, if it's in the U.S., then that's just patently false. But if it's in other countries, I can't speak to it. But that is just fundamentally. I don't.
You're
The
right,
other
yeah.
thing that people are pointing out with Domino's is that they are the one reason. You know what? They exist in the space so. And they're such power players is because they are open till 2 a.m.
Yeah,
And they are often the only place
That's
that you
true.
can get food
yeah.
that
It's
late.
just a
And
value
is why-
play, late night value play.
I just
What are your guys' favorite pizza chains? Like I need to know. Like I'm torn between, like I enjoy Pizza Hut from time to time. They're not the best well-made pizzas, but Papa John's is good.
Papa John's
wanna
is good.
hear-
Pizza Hut's fine. Like, I mean, I'm not super picky. I'm not really that picky. If I go to someone's house and they've ordered Domino's, I might silently judge them, but I'm still gonna eat the pizza.
I thought you were gonna
That's
say
a
you were
great
gonna
point.
leave and
you
get
know
food
what?
somewhere.
I will betray all my values because it's still edible pizza.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I'm still
But it is.
look.
So,
I like
yeah.
pizza. It's fine. It's edible. But I'm just saying, in the context of this question, there is truly no other choice because Domino's does not do anything that you cannot get elsewhere, and in this case,
Yeah.
they don't do
Better.
anything that you can't get better elsewhere. Like,
Yeah.
you remove
And
Domino's
if
from this
you-
equation, and nothing of value is lost.
It's like
And if
for me,
you-
like it's sacrilege. Like it literally, my family, like they grew up in New Haven, New York. Like we don't order. You don't order fast food pizza. That's like the tier 3. But if
Mhm.
you have to, I'm so glad that most people are under the assumption that Domino's is the last part of that chain pizza. Like I mean, again, like
Yeah.
I'll eat Papa John's, I'll eat Pizza Hut. Again, they're not my favorite. I always try to order from a local place or somewhere like a mom and pop. But if you can't, I understand if you can't. I'm glad that
Mhm.
most people are pretty in agreement. But I really do think it's the 2 a.m. It's the 2 a.m. factor is huge for Domino's because they're open when other people aren't. And I get it. Sometimes you're hungry. You've been smoking the funny bush or whatever, if it's legal in your state, of course. You're maybe a little bit hungover, you're drunk, you're hungry, or you're just hungry super late and you don't want to make something. I understand. What I will give Domino's is that like everything that I've ever eaten that was okay or decent from them was not pizza. Was like a sandwich or
Right.
like I got some kind of chicken thing. Like it was never pizza, but that's crazy because you're known for your pizza. So I don't, or well, it's a pizza place.
I feel like some people in the chat are misunderstanding my line of logic here. I'm not saying that Domino's is even like the worst of these 4 places. I'm
No.
just saying that there is nothing original that you can get at Domino's that is worth saving. Like McDonald's, all right, look, you don't have to like McDonald's, but the point is you can't get a Big Mac elsewhere.
Right.
You can get
That's
things,
true.
you
Yeah.
can get burgers that may be somewhat similar to a Big Mac, kind of. You can't get a Big Mac elsewhere, right? Same with Taco Bell. You can't get a Crunchwrap Supreme elsewhere. I don't care if you like Crunchwrap Supremes. That's not the point. The point is there's something unique about that removing Taco Bell, you can't get it anymore. There is nothing like that with Domino's. It's like, oh, I can't get cheese pizza now. I can't.
Dude, I bet you can't get the chicken shit they have drizzled with they have these chicken things. I was looking at their menu because I was forced. This is about a month and a half ago. There was nothing else open. I had an exact situation. This is bringing back repressed memories. But I went to their menu and they have these chicken things, and it's literally chicken. They're little chickens spread out in a line, and then they pour sauce and cheese and bacon on top of it and charge you I don't know, $8 or $9, and it's you know what? I'm gonna go look at this travesty. I'm not saying that I'm sure it tastes okay, but this is the kind of shit that they're pulling, and it's you aren't fooling anybody. You just deep fried some chicken and melted cheese and bacon on top of it, and you're calling it your special chicken sauce. Hold on, it's called they call it specialty chicken. Okay, it's called specialty chicken.
Of course,
I'm gonna give you a picture. I'm gonna give you a picture of this shit. It's come on, but it goes back to exactly what you're saying. It's they don't do anything.
It's you don't have to love Starbucks, but you can't get a Frappuccino elsewhere. So I don't care if you don't like Frappuccinos. The point is that's something unique that Starbucks offers that other people might want. You're talking about eliminating this chain. That doesn't just affect you; it affects everyone.
That's a good point. No, the way that you answer the questions.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. No,
I'm looking at this. Yeah. Looking at the specialty chicken,
it's just literally it's specialty chicken, spicy jalapeno pineapple. It's literally chicken in a line, and then they pour pineapple and they put fucking the spicy jalapeno sauce and they bake it, and they call it specialty chicken. It's our artisan craftsmen in the Domino's kitchen have been working on this artisan chicken. It's fuck off.
We've flown them out from Italy.
At least, you know what? As much as I hate Pizza Hut and the absolute shit they do to pizza and put in their crust, the hot dog crust, Pizza Hut is my main issue with Pizza Hut. Not that it's not edible, you can get okay things from Pizza Hut, is the absolute bastardization and disrespect that they have for pizza, where they'll put fucking hot dogs in the crust or make a grilled cheese crust or whatever millions of things that they've done to destroy something as simple as pizza, and that should be enjoyed. But even that, I give them credit for. It's yeah, you guys are fucking idiots. You're putting hot dogs in the crust of your pizza, but at least that is kind of a unique product.
Yeah,
it's not repurposing chicken and putting candied fucking pineapples on top of it and cheese and charging me $8 for a specialty chicken.
At least it's something for someone who wants to adventure a little bit. It's not something that's just rehashed from somewhere else.
No,
it's look, you may not want hot dog crust, but hey. That's what.
Where are you going to get that?
Yeah, where are you going to get that? That's what I'm saying. I don't see anything on this menu that I think, you know what, I got to have that. Can't get it anywhere else.
Exactly. No, it's a great point. You make a great point. It really, if Domino's ceased to exist, you're not losing a single menu item that you cannot get better somewhere else. You really aren't.
You're not.
They don't have a go-to.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
You got it.
I think any reasonable person answers Domino's for this question, and if you didn't answer Domino's after this discussion, I think you really should rethink your line.
You're right. I jumped on YouTube to see if there's a Big Mike food review for the Domino's specialty chicken. Unfortunately, there isn't, but I found this one review, and I'm looking at the comments. Someone said they wanted to vomit while eating this. Someone commented. He's reviewing the Domino's sweet barbecue bacon specialty chicken. So this one comment says, "I've been a manager at Domino's. Trust me, their food is horrible for you. I've had the barbecue before. It was good, but gave me a stomach ache."
Wow. This guy out here.
Look at this. Wow. All right. Well, there it is.
That was a decent question, but I would appreciate more challenging questions in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you really laid it down and we take it that way, the only thing someone pointed out, the only thing that I think Domino's could try to claim that they have is you point out Cinesticks, and that is the closest thing to having some kind. But you can get a version of that somewhere else. It's
I was
not
gonna say that's
exclusive to. They may have started the Cinesticks thing, but now everybody else does them, and it's not.
Yeah, there are
can get
imitation
that.
cinnamon sticks on
Right.
Pizza Hut's menu. I know for a fact.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there absolutely are. So it's not that they, yeah. So that's still for me not enough.
Now,
Also,
if you want to
Taco
challenge,
Bell and Starbucks are just legitimately good places to go for things you need. So,
I mean, I love me some Taco Bell. I mean, I'm not ashamed. I'm not going to Taco Bell for quality. I'm going to Taco Bell to get the fucking Crunchwrap Supreme, or dude. Like I'm going to live.
you could have like of the two, choosing to put Starbucks and Taco Bell on the same, like in the same question as McDonald's and Domino's just isn't even fair. Those two don't even qualify.
Yep. Well,
let's move on.
If you want a more challenging question, then this next email, albeit not challenging in the same way, this is. I don't want to read this because I have parents in a room next to me, so
do you?
I'm gonna elect that someone else reads this.
Okay, I guess I'll take this one then.
Yeah.
This email's from either Jesus or Jesus, depending on how you pronounce this. We'll go with Jesus because I don't think Jesus would have written such a
this abomination.
I mean, it was just Easter. He's resurrected, so he's only a couple weeks old now.
He's reformed.
All right, here we go. It's from Jesus via email. Excuse me. I was the kid that poked holes in the plastic packaging of paper towels and toilet paper. I was the kid that picked up just about everything in the grocery store. I'd squeeze the loaves of bread and squeeze the yogurt cups. Okay, it's kind of an admission so far, but we'll see. But the one section I always avoided during these tactile excursions was the meats. The aseptic cellophane and styrofoam packaging.
Now, we've got to point out some of the wording of this email. Tactile is spelled tactile. Was is W-U-Z.
Yes.
Packaging, for some reason, has a capitalized A-G-I-N.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I wonder if there's a hidden message here, but I can't figure out what it's supposed to be because I've tried to put it together.
The author of this email is clearly under the influence of a foreign substance. But please continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So the aseptic cellophane and styrofoam packaging, the deep red color of the meats, the intercellular fluid that was apt to leak onto your hands and make them sticky, it didn't excite me at all. Then it hit me. Meat is surprisingly sexual. Oh my God.
No.
The pornographic red color of so much of it. The flesh that exists for your pleasure. Chicken breasts. Breast, E-A-S-T is capitalized, by the way, in that. Chicken breasts and thighs can be fondled without repercussion. Even thick, spelled T-H-I-C-C. Even thick sliced ham's texture reminds me of how I imagine the inside of a vajayjay. I'm not allowed to say this word, he said. Even thick sliced ham's texture reminded me of how I imagine the inside of a vajayjay might feel. Slightly uneven, a bit smooth, but still rough enough to provide pleasurable rubbing friction. I don't know what friction is. I think he means like
friction,
but he spelled it F-R-I-K-S-U-N. Friction. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be friction. God damn it.
This is a sin.
Wow, this is... Oh, God. All right, my question is, what is your favorite meat and specify how it is prepared? Thanks. Mine is steak. That's all one sentence.
He left out how he wants his steak prepared. That's such a crucial piece of information.
He did. Yeah. He did leave out how he'd like it prepared.
Looking at how this question is written, he has to want it well done.
I mean, he seems like a really fucked up, well done kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man,
definitely seems concerned about the red color of meat and the way that it feels. So I do think it seems like he would go well done to get away from those things that bother him.
I can really appreciate the KDs and vibe from this question.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's uncomfortable. It's surprising.
You don't know what's gonna happen
next. Takes some turns.
Yeah. Well, what's her favorite meat?
So favorite meat, that's really open-ended, man. Any kind of meat you could... God.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, does he want to know, chicken versus pork versus
I feel
beef, or
like
does he want to know like filet mignon versus ribeye? I mean, I don't even know. That's such a.
Would you count like lobster in there, or?
I mean, sure, lobster
um,
meat is meat, so
yeah, yeah. This is
I'm probably, if I have to go with, I was initially gonna say chicken because that's just such a tactile,
tactile.
like, I mean, it can handle a lot, or tactical, I guess, yeah. But
Handle a
when
lot
it
of
comes to
friction chicken.
friction, yeah, with the
Handles a lot
chicken,
of friction.
they can be
don't
fondled
lie.
at
You were
that
gonna
rate.
answer. You were gonna answer chicken because you get to touch the breasts.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
You get to fondle the breast without
They can,
repercussion.
without repercussion, yeah. That's the real
That's the
reason.
best part of that whole.
Oh my god,
What the fuck?
that was gross. But no, I think if I had to go down to one, to my
Yeah.
favorite, it'd probably be grilled chicken.
Okay.
Like some really good grilled chicken. Just
It's
Yeah,
hard
nice.
because it depends on my mood. Because I mean, I don't discriminate, man. Sometimes I'll never turn down some nice chicken. Steak is just.
oh
And
yeah,
I also love, I love so anything cow related, but I love also really nice tender like ground beef because you can do a lot with it. Make a nice burger, but then you can do a nice steak, and then you got
I'm
pork
glad you
chops.
specified.
Yeah,
And you said
yes,
you can
sir.
do a lot with it. I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, that sounded a little open ended. I mean, well, that's true too. You can anyway, the textures, but man, if I had to choose, like I guess, I mean, chicken is like steak's really good.
Chicken is
Chicken's
very
really
versatile.
Chicken's so versatile. You can do so much with it.
versatile. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, chicken's hard to beat, man. Even though I do love my red meat, but
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go with chicken too, just because you can do so much with it.
really.
Have it so many different ways. I
If
think
we
I'm
go
gonna agree with
based off
you.
what I order at restaurants, it would probably be steak. Like I really
Mhm.
like ribeyes, like a
Mhm.
nicely cooked medium rare steak at a restaurant that's
Yeah,
not like Applebee's, or Denny's or
Right.
something. We're talking proper restaurants. That's usually my go-to. But like you're saying, Scott, it kind of depends on the setting, depends on the mood.
does.
Because like
It's-
I love pork ribs, I love brisket, but
Sure.
like
Oh,
those are
brisket.
just like that's a whole different vibe though, right? That's like barbecue and a nice steakhouse. I'm not those can't really be compared. I'm not going for the same experience there.
No.
But I wouldn't say one's better than the other. They're just, they're different.
I think that might be my new favorite Twitch spam. By the way, Katie has posted
Oh yeah.
a part of the meat is surprisingly sexual portion of the of the.
That is a great
email
copy
in the
pasta,
chat,
actually.
and that is an
It really
incredible
is.
copy pasta.
It's a little too long.
Yeah,
It might overwhelm a lot of listeners.
it could. You could maybe shorten it a little. I don't know. The whole thing's so good though, and
Yeah.
it comes out of nowhere because it's got no context, so it's even.
I'm not allowed to
even
say this word.
That's essential. Like so much of this it's long, but it's concise in what it's trying to say.
What
There's
would
not a
you-
single
That's
sentence.
How many KD Zens would you rate that out of 5?
Yeah.
I'd give it 3 little mics out of 5.
It's not bad. Pretty strong.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
I
good.
still go back to that Halloween question every week. That is just my finest work right there. Like back when I would send those questions, I would always I would measure how good they were on how much I could make John laugh because
Yeah.
he would stonewall so much of that.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, but he
Problem.
was crying during my questions, so that's
It's
a
a shame
success.
you peaked so early.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean, I went on for a while. What that,
No,
that was
I
my
know, but I
question
just
is,
mean in your life, your best days are clearly behind you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. What a shame.
Knew that was coming. All right.
Oh,
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's so tough. Like right now, because I think I'm in the mood for chicken, so I'm leaning towards chicken. But
And also, you need a healthier option after taking down some of those
Exactly.
peanut butter cups.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're still sitting next to me. I've managed to resist, but I don't know how much longer I can resist. All right. Well, that was an amazing. Thank you, Jesus, via email. That was very interesting. And wow, learned a lot about learned about how sexual meat is. I never realized. But you're right. You can fondle those breasts without repercussion. It's a good point.
oh my gosh,
God, yeah, God, I don't want to get into it, but anyway.
dude. I know we're not supposed to talk out chat, but this is just perfect. I need to shout this out. It just sums it up so well. It's all downhill and anime from here, KD. That just sums up everything so well.
Yep.
God.
All right. Our next question comes via email from Love Muffin. And you want to read this one? Doesn't seem as crazy, Katie. You want to go? You can take this one.
Yeah, I can take this one. Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
So Love Muffin, he writes in, "Hey KBMOD, spelled out KAYBEMOD. This is Love Muffin again. I have another magical gift for you." Just that question, just that sentence has broken me. It's super great and so convenient for awkward elevator-related anxiety.
Oh, this is good for me then. Perfect.
Did you know how many cephalopods can change color almost to the point of becoming invisible? I grant you this ability. Imagine a polite foreign man is holding the elevator for you.
God damn it.
Screw him. You just turn invisible. Yay! No more mumbling about the weather. Free stolen Milky Ways for life.
Damn, dude. It's brilliant.
Unfortunately, since this is Harry Potter style magic, it is conveniently handicapped so that things can't be too easy. So I regret to inform you that if you take the gift, you also gain another of the cephalopods' defense mechanisms, inking.
Oh.
Anytime you are scared from now on, you will suck in the nearest available source of water and expel it forcefully with a large amount of ink provided by the ink sacs that are now located between your lungs. Example, a cleaning lady with headphones on opens the bathroom stall you're sitting in.
Can I just stop you right now? Because this dude is pulling stuff from stories way past. Like that's like a 4-year-old story from the podcast, or 5 years old.
Oh, really?
He pulled about me. Anyway, sorry. This is amazing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that actually happened to me. I told that at one point. Yeah, I was sitting at work, and the cleaning lady yanked open my bathroom stall while I was dropping a deuce, and she flipped the fuck out.
Oh, man,
Anyway,
that's awesome.
sorry,
He's
sorry,
bringing
go
out the KBMOD lore. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Example, a cleaning lady with headphones on opens the bathroom stall you're sitting in. Oh boy, that was startling. You suck in about a quart of water from the toilet, and poof, that dum-dum is confused in a cloud of ink, and you are out the door.
Wow.
So maybe this is a win-win for avoiding interaction. Anyway, the choice is yours. If you take it, I need to get rid of this VHS copy of The Little Mermaid. What? Hugs and kisses. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah. Another great
I like
question.
that. Wait. If we take the ability, he gives us his copy of The Little Mermaid. Sounds like.
Is that what carries the curse of
I don't know.
Stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. Would you? Okay, so you can turn invisible, but then if you get startled, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Oh,
I mean, I think if I ink, I can simply immediately turn invisible. If it's unlimited, then
I guess
you can avoid embarrassment.
I guess you would also just have to really avoid being. The thing is that once people realize that you did this, like that, once you got startled, you would ink everywhere. People would just make your life miserable. Because I was gonna say you could just go around. We're really making sure you don't get startled. Like really trying to be calm, get zen. But there's always going to be something.
You would be. You would always be like. You honestly, you would become startled easier, I think, because you would constantly be worried about people, surprising you, because they would learn this, right? If it happens once, you're not gonna be able to explain this away, like why the cleaning lady is covered in ink.
I immediately thought like I could never play another horror game again, but I probably could never play another video game again. Yeah, because like if you factor in like any small startle from any game, that's a lot of fucking video games. Like you can get startled in like Super Mario Brothers. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to switch out chairs all the damn time.
Yeah.
So like
it's gonna be rough.
Being invisible, that's sick, but really, I mean, you also have to factor in, what are the rules of being invisible? Do you have to be, are your clothes invisible too? If you go out and, be like, listen, you enlist in the military, like, listen, I can straight up turn invisible. I'm a valuable asset. But like, is your gun going to be invisible, or is it just going to be a floating gun? Like, this is some CSGO.
That's actually a pretty important question around invisibility is even if you can turn invisible, the objects around you wouldn't be.
Yeah. You'd just be clothes, like floating. Walking around. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to reject the invisibility. Because
I think I'm gonna have to decline, even though that sounds super badass. I don't think I could go through life inking every time I got startled because I get startled enough.
And also the thing that
problem.
we didn't mention, you suck in the nearest available source of water too.
That's right.
So like if you have,
yeah.
you know, if
Infinite
you're like,
range.
if I'm sipping on this tea and I get startled, I just suck the tea into me and then turn it into ink.
Yeah,
The closest liquid to me is probably like the piping in my house next to the bathroom near me. So if I get startled, it gets fucking pulled out through the wall, or it just through under my door, into me, then out of me.
I feel
That
like
is
these questions,
such an inconvenience.
these questions were one of the side effects of something we just have no control over. I feel like they're never worth it.
Yeah.
exactly
Like farting when you can fly, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would do it. Invisibility is cool, but I don't think it's worth losing control over like a situation like expelling ink everywhere.
Right.
We could be on this podcast right now, and I could get mildly startled, and then I would I'd ruin my monitors. I don't think we'd do it.
How?
Yeah, not worth. Yeah.
Good question.
That was good. Sorry, you're gonna have to hold on to that VHS copy of The Little Mermaid for a little bit while longer.
Yeah.
Until somebody decides to take you up.
Find another sucker.
I appreciate the lore that you left. I mean, again, obviously referencing my elevator story, and then that's super old. I don't even know if I told that on a podcast. That might have been an offhand, but yeah, this is when I worked like 6-7 years ago at that software company. I was anyway. I don't even know. I must have told it on the podcast, but that was very, very awkward. She came in. I didn't really know what was going on, and she thought nobody was in there. She had her headphones in, and she yanks open my
vaguely remember this
stall.
story.
Yeah, I probably told it, and I mean, I'm just sitting there, dude. I forget what I did. I was just like, "Hello," and she was like, "Oh, superstar." But anyway.
Think about how
if she had the
valuable.
power, she would have inked all over me. So
Yeah. Think about how valuable this skill would have been when you were hiding in the bathroom, APL.
Oh my god!
Just turn invisible.
Yeah, it's
go to
true.
your
That would have
room.
been perfect. Would have gotten out of there scot free. All right,
Hey, scot free. Damn,
that's
that's some good shit, brother.
Damn, dude.
Blah, 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 blah. All right.
All right, that signals that we need to be getting this over with, and we are almost at the end. But we've got the iTunes podcast review of the week, which you can do yourself. Maybe get a feature. We've got 2 beautiful reviews featured today. So 2 people decided to go ahead and give back a little bit and let us know, beyond the fact that we're a 5-star rated podcast, which we are. Give us a little bit of
Scott, how many reviews do we have for next week though?
None at the moment, right?
Yes. So
Exactly.
so that means that you
Right.
could be the one for next week, because by definition we have received none for this coming week in the future. So
Exactly.
what do
you
they
could
have
be
to
the-
do? What do they have to do to get featured next
So
week?
simple. So simple. Go to iTunes, okay? Go to iTunes, look up KBMOD. You'll find the KBMOD Gaming Podcast. You'll see we are a 5-star rated podcast. The only requirement is that you rate us 5 stars, which is what we deserve. And then you go and you write whatever you want in the subject or the title, and then you write whatever you want in the body of the review. It can be a question. It can be an honest feedback about the podcast. It could be what did we've had? I almost said Braille, but no, we've had
We had Morse code, binary.
Morse code. We've had Morse code. Why am I thinking Braille? We had Morse code one week. I was like, how am I going to read Braille?
If you can put Braille into iTunes,
I'm like,
that
wait
would
a
be
minute.
impressive.
Dude, that's the next thing, is screens that you can actually that can morph and warp, and you can read Braille on your touch on your phone.
That'd be cool.
Anyway, but yeah, go ahead and do that. We've got 2 reviews this week. The first one comes from someone who's not a stranger to these reviews. Believe it or not, we've seen the name Cat Fondler 69 before. This is his 2nd or 3rd review.
I wonder if it's the same person, or if that just, I mean,
Right.
It's possible that more than one person goes by the alias Cat Fondler 69.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be a copycat. It could be just another account or another review by the same person. But this is titled Brandon, Brad, and KD are wrong. Of course, 5 stars. And
Okay.
it says Brandon, Brad, and KD are wrong. Custard-filled donuts are the best donuts. Response? Any
That
thoughts?
was from last week. We talked about donuts and the best types of donuts, and we had some different answers, but none of us went with custard filled. I feel like that's kind of a niche choice.
That is. I agree with you too. I know it was in the discussion, but I agree. I'm not saying I won't eat a custard-filled donut, but it's not It's not at the top.
Yeah,
by any
I wouldn't.
means.
It's kind of like the Domino's analogy. Like if someone brought a box of custard-filled donuts,
Sure.
I'd be like, okay, well, I'm surprised you would buy so many custard-filled donuts without any other choice of donuts, but I'm still gonna take one.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Well,
Thank you for your.
that is the right place to give us that feedback. I appreciate
It is.
your letting us know that we were wrong, and I will definitely take into advisement in the future that custard-filled donuts may be the best donuts.
Okay. Thank you, Cat Fondler 69.
All right.
Appreciate it.
This next
yeah,
review
dude,
is
check
not a
this out.
complaint at us, but
Mm.
it's a complaint at iTunes.
Yes.
Pretty clever. It's the title of this review is mediocre at best.
Mm.
It's from Sub T. It says mediocre at best is what I would rate iTunes, since it keeps unsubscribing me from my third favorite podcast every time a new episode is uploaded.
Wow.
So that sounds like a pretty bad issue for iTunes. They
That's
got to
a
get
rough
out of
issue
it.
right there.
Huh.
I like the meta that he's using too. Is that he used the title as the start of a sentence, and then the
clickbait,
the body.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the body
I like
is-
that. It's a tease.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, the
very
good
well
thing,
done.
I guess, the good thing though is that it's not unsubscribing him from the KBMOD podcast. It's unsubscribing him from his third favorite podcast, which he doesn't name.
That's
That's
I
unfortunate.
see what you did there. That's very true. He does. It is unfortunate, but you know what? As long as since we're clearly his favorite podcast, and we're not getting unsubscribed to, I don't want to say that's not our problem, but you know,
Yeah.
I hope he gets it.
I mean,
figured out.
I definitely I empathize with you. I don't know if there's much we can do about iTunes infrastructure, but the
Right.
silver lining is that you have us and your second favorite podcast to listen to, and hopefully by the time you've listened to those two podcasts, you're able to go and download your third favorite podcast manually.
Exactly. But yeah, thanks so much for the review, Sub T. Another, of course, 2 5-star reviews by 2 esteemed members of the internet community, Cat Fondler 69 and Sub T. So thank you so much. I think that's going to wrap up episode. I have to scroll to the top of the doc. 276. My goodness. We are creeping close towards 300. I know we're still a decent ways away, but it's not that far away. And that's, I mean, again, I'm turning 30 this month. It is now May 1st. This month, I'm turning 30. So, I mean,
Wow.
anyway, time just flies by. Turning 30, and we're going to be hitting 300 episodes in not that long. So, if you guys enjoy the podcast, again, definitely leave a review. We'd love to read your thoughts on what we do here. We've been doing it for a long time. Check out kbmod.com for the stuff that we discussed. Extra Life, again, just to reiterate, is going to be August 18th, 19th, and 20th. So again, a ways away, but mark that on your calendar now. Look for the Little Nightmares review that's coming next week once Katie Zen finishes that up. And of course, you can check out the multi-stream and other content that goes up on the website. Check out obviously twitch.tv/KBMod for other streams that go on during the week as well. We don't just do the podcast stream. There's also a bunch of other content that
When
happens.
do we do the podcast stream, Scott?
That's a great question. We do the podcast streams 10 Eastern, 7 PST on Sunday nights, generally every Sunday night unless otherwise noted. So that's when you can catch us live. Of course, the recorded version of this podcast goes live at some point most days the following Tuesday after that Sunday. So this will go live on the 2nd of May. So anyway, it's not too complicated thing to figure out.
I just love you spelling out all the different dates.
I'm just like looking at the dates. I'm like, anything else we can do here? I feel like a YouTube vlogger who's like just trying to drag out his vlog for as long as possible.
Like people can't put together the date we're airing this.
I'm just listen. I'm trying to give people zero excuses to not know what's going on with us. So check out KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. I am at APL Fisher. Volition is at VOL1. TION. Katie Zen is at Katie Zen 18. And like I said, this has been episode 276. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you, or you will hear us next week. Farewell.
Yatta! Brandon?
Soft top.